The itis.
The what?
The itis. That's what you call it when you get sleepy after a big meal.
The itis collection. I'm going to show you how to make the itis burger. And here you can see I'm slicing down a little bit of onion. It's up to you how you want to slice it. I slice mine thin. You can slice them thick. It depends on how you feel. And it does look like I'm using a lot of onions, which I'm really not. They're going to render down and become a lot smaller once they're cooked down. But also I have to let you know that I've made this video twice because the original video, the memory card screwed up and I lost most of the original video, so I had to redo it a second time. And here you can see I'm just taking literally half a pack of bacon. I'm slicing it down into little small pieces. You don't want anything incredibly big because the original video I used small cube steak, thinly sliced up onions, thinly sliced up bacon that renders down. You mix it together, you mix with the sauce, and then you literally cheese it so the cheese forces everything together and holds it together. But unfortunately, after like 2 hours of making the original video, I found that the card was screwed up and I had to start all over again. But now that I've finished cutting the bacon into little small pieces, I'm going to incorporate it with the onions in the frying pan. The bacon is going to add a little extra fatty grease and a little bit of flavor to the sweet onion. I don't believe in over seasoning anything, so this is one of the natural flavors. Plus, let's be honest, who doesn't love bacon? Or the taste of bacon? Vegans. And this is take number 2. Like I said, I had to do the video twice. The first video I had small pieces of cube steak, where after I went back to the lab, I found I only had some shaved steak, so I had to go with some real shaved steak. A little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. Trust me, you want to use Montreal steak seasoning. It's incredible, especially on the grill. And here I'm just literally going to cook it down slowly. It's on a very low heat because the steak didn't have a whole lot of fat. Which is also the reason why in a minute you're going to see I'm going to take about a half a pound patty and plop it in with it. And the half an hour patty is like 75-25. So it's going to lose about a quarter of its weight as fat. But the fat also greased the pan. It blends in with the steak. Trust me, besides, they're both the same thing. Shaved steak, ground beef, very little difference. And here you see I put in my battery, Montreal steak seasoning on it as well. And let it begin rendering down and cooking down. And in the first video, I literally started with the onions first. The second video, as you can see, there's a pan off to the side. And in that pan, I started the bacon. Then I tossed the onions into that one. Because the original video got corrupted. I couldn't use any of it. Well, most of it got completely destroyed. Just like in the first video, I made a cake batter, crispy cornstarch onion rings to go on top of the burger so that when you bite down into it, a little sweetness from it, a lot of crunch, the onion ring flavor, of course, and then my barbecue sauce that you're seeing I'm about to start mixing now, which I took a bit of my base barbecue sauce. I tossed in a little bit of seasoning and I began heating it because I wanted to render it down. But as it started to heat up, I mixed in Parmesan apple brandy. The apple brandy will give it a little bit of sweetness, but it also sits in an oak barrel, so it has a wood flavor to it too. And it plays with the flavor complexities. So here I go, checking my steak, checking my burger. In a minute, I'm going to go grab my brandy. Don't judge me. The barbecue sauce is on a low heat. It's beginning to heat up. Bacon off to the side with onions. The bacon providing grease to saute down the onions. And don't judge me. I always have brandy. And in the itis collection, it's all about all over the top things that are fattening, things that'll put you to sleep, things you wouldn't normally eat. So I don't suggest making this for your family or kids, but I do suggest you try it once. And if you like it, subscribe, tell a friend. But don't eat this like this on a regular. This is just me having fun, showing people how far you can go and how much indulgence you can put in the food. And this is pretty indulgent. We're talking steak on ground beef, on bacon, on sauteed onions, originally with an onion ring, a nice homemade barbecue sauce mixed with brandy. It's over the top. Also here you can see my onions have begun turning a nice little blackness, so they cook down really nicely. So I'm taking them out the pan, keep them out of the heat, let the bacon finish cooking. In the original video, I had the bacon all sliced up in small pieces. As you can see, I had to go a different route. But also too, I am going to take some of the bacon out and mince it down. Of course here, as you can see, I'm removing the steak. The steak is cooked. The steak doesn't need to be overcooked. Plus I need to finish off the burger. And I know a lot of people are going to catch one because I'm pressing down on the burger, squeezing juice out of the burger. You're going to make the burger dry that way. You're squeezing out all the flavor. No. When you squeeze a piece of meat that's heated, it's going to extrude out its own juices. And the second thing that happens, if it's sitting in a puddle of juice, it's going to draw it back in because it's still hot. So the idea is smush out some of the blood. It'll suck in some of the fatty goodness that we all love in a burger. Squish, come out, and guess what? It's going to start sucking juice back in. And I know it's going to make some purists upset, but that's the way I do mine. The same reason I smushed, and you can see right here, I'm leaning the pan, letting the burger sit in nothing but the solid grease. It further cooks it and allows it to more draw in, especially when you squish it down. So cook it like this, turn, get a good sear on them. But the burger's done, and here I'm going to start reincorporating everything. There's the steak, there's the onions, same pan, mincing them together. Next step, I mince down the bacon, chuck those babies in, mix them together, let them get to know each other, show some love for each other, and heat up. And once you know they're good, and this is my preference, you don't have to, I pour in some of the barbecue sauce. Just literally drizzle. It's going to fall down to the bottom, yes. It's going to mix with the fatty greases, yes. But let's be honest, we're already eating fatty greases. Lean her to the side, let the fat drain down, and mix it together. This is ready. So then the only step now is to add mounds of cheese, which you can see right here. Cover it, let the cheese start melting down. Because the cheese is going to hold it like a glue. It's going to keep them sticky and gooey, like when you pull a pizza and you see the cheese stress out. It'll help it bond. And here, took off the top. Here comes my burger. Reheated it back up. Not a whole lot of heat in the pan at the moment. That's why I also cover everything. But yes, I did have to pull things out and redo things because it's a time consumption to try to do it all at once, especially in one pan. And here I did use a lot of cheddar cheese. The steak, I believe I used baby Swiss, so it might have been regular Swiss. It's up to you how you choose how you want to put your cheese sauce in there. Alright, this is video 2. A little bit of mayo. Then I smear it across the bun. Yes, brioche style bun. Just not the same as the first one, because I would have to make the sucker a second time. First take, second take. You can see I drip a little bit of barbecue sauce on the first take. Second take, you can see the shaved steak, and I'm stacking it on the bun. First take, I'm beginning to put lettuce down. The lettuce is going to help hold the cube steak, as well as stop a lot of the grease from going through and making it incredibly soggy. In the second take, I'm using shredded cheese on top of a single piece of, I think it was provolone. Then I heat it with a little bit of heat in the oven for a minute. First take, you see I'm about to layer in the cube steak and the bacon, the onions, and the cheese has made everything gooey. In the second take, you can see I'm beginning to rip off some little bit of lettuce because I'm going to add to the sandwich, as well as a little bit of crispy bacon that I made. Jesus, this is making me hungry. In the first take, I'm still messing with the ground steak. Well, excuse me, not the ground steak, but the cube steak, trying to get as much as humanly possible on that bun. Then a little bit more of the barbecue sauce. It's going to drip its way down. The lettuce is going to keep the bun from getting completely soggy. On the second take, I put on my meat patty, different cheeses. I splash in my barbecue sauce, and yes, I put it in a container. Don't ask me why. First take, you can see the bun I cut. There I am putting it on. And now I'm adding a little bacon to that second bun. Second take, the burger's done. Damn, that thing looks hungry good. And for the first take, now that I've got my bacon down, here comes my very fattening burger with a whole lot of cheddar cheese melted down. And yeah. Of course, you would have seen the onion ring, but that's another ball game. A little bit more sauce. I mean, either way you want to make the burger. The first recording, that burger is ginormous. The second, not as ginormous, just as fattening, just as bad for the soul, tastes incredible. But if you like this crazy sandwich, like, subscribe, tell your friends. If you have any suggestions on something you want to see me make, hit me in the comments. And as always, have a good one. Enjoy.